Good morning, my friends. I'd like to begin today by sharing with you a reading from the book of Galatians, Paul's letter to the church at Galatia. I'm reading from Galatians chapter 6, verses 6 through 10. Those who are taught the word must share in all good things with their teacher. Do not be deceived, God is not mocked, for you reap whatever you sow. If you sow to your own flesh, you will reap corruption from the flesh. But if you sow to the Spirit, you will reap eternal life from the Spirit. So let us not grow weary in doing what is right, for we will reap at harvest time if we do not give up. So then, whenever we have an opportunity, let us work for the good of all, and especially for those of the family of faith. And our story today is called The Golden Chain. I had walked about 2 miles from my disabled car before I spotted the 4-wheel drive truck coming toward me through the off-season emptiness of the Florida Keys highway. I signaled frantically. "What's the trouble?" asked the driver, a big gray-haired man who looked to be in his 60s. "My car took a bad skid," I told him. "It's wedged in a drainage channel on the bridge up the road." "Hop in," he said cheerfully. "Maybe I can help." At the sight of my accident, he hitched our 2 vehicles together with a chain. Using a lot of care and skill, he pulled my car clear. Then he waited patiently while I checked the engine and the brakes. "Can't thank you enough." I tried to press a bill into his hand. "Keep it." "But if you hadn't come along—" "I know this will sound strange," he interrupted, "but the reason I happened by is that I missed my exit. I just thank God for bringing me here to help." He looked at me steadily and went on. "Since my wife died, I fish a little and work in the lay ministry program at our church. Elva and I used to try to help people whenever we could. All we ever asked in return was that they would help somebody else when they had the chance." We shook hands and drove off in opposite directions. One Friday night, a few weeks later, I was driving home after work in rush hour traffic. Passing by the mall, I saw a car stalled on the shoulder near the entrance. The driver wore a harried expression. Poor guy, I thought. Maybe somebody would stop and help him. Then, somebody who? My mind asked. I reached for my turn signal. "Didn't you just pass by?" asked the man as I drove him to a nearby service station. "Almost," I said. At the garage, he rented a gas can to replenish his empty tank. Driving back to his car, we chatted, and I told him where I worked. As I was leaving, he held out a bill. "For your trouble," he urged, "and thanks." "That's all right," I said. "Keep your money. Just help somebody else when you can. I mean that, seriously." And I drove off. About a month later, the same man was waiting for me at my office. "Remember me?" he said. "Sure I do. Have a seat." "Look, I travel a lot," the man said, "and the other day on the Interstate 95, I noticed this car on the median strip. Anyway, I drove on by." "Almost," I interrupted. He nodded. "I got off at the next exit and came back because I remembered what you said. When I walked up to the car, I could hear the engine running. A woman was slumped over the wheel, and I could see a bottle of pills spilled out on the seat beside her. I flagged down a trucker, and he called the police and an ambulance on his CB radio. I followed the ambulance to the hospital to make sure everything was okay. After a while, her doctor came out and told me that she had had some kind of attack. He said I probably saved her life, and she wanted to see me for a minute. When I went into her room, all she could do was whisper, 'What can I do to repay you?'" Know what I told her? "Yes, I do," I said, and we both just sat there, grinning at each other. After he left, I couldn't stop thinking about all that had happened. It was like a golden chain of people helping each other. Only God knew who would be the next link. Well, my friends, I think today is going to be about the warmest day this week. From here on, we're going to, the thermometer is supposed to dip, and it's going to be quite cold on Sunday morning. All the more reason why we need to let the warmth of God's light shine into our lives. So who will be the next chain in the link? Maybe you.